Namaskar. Thank you so
Namaskar,
much.
sir.
Delighted to be here with everybody. Yesterday, we had a wonderful event talking about one herbal formulation, Brahmi tea. And today you have moved the whole exercise to the other end of the spectrum, which is training, certification, quality control. We want to, first of all, I want to thank Anilji, who's here with us, a good friend of the platform, and Anilji has been with us on several occasions. So we knew from Anilji's earlier discussions the approximate scope and the extent of quality control work that is going on under his leadership in India. And Anupamji had presented some time back at one event in the Netherlands. Anupamji will recollect that. This was just a few months ago. So I was aware a little bit about Anupamji's. But today, the work that was elaborated by Ranaji and then Debjaniji, thank you so much for your excellent presentation. And also from Chennai, sir, thank you so much for introducing so many aspects of particularly the subtleties of vernacular, the vernacular and vernacular knowledge. Now, before I, Pavanji, with your permission, before I do a little more on those details, we are very fortunate to have here today with us Professor Dorlando Cutting. And with your permission, Pavanji, if we can get a few words.
Definitely, sir, definitely.
Professor Dorlando has been with us through the entire session. Dorlando ji is a very respected physicist, vice chancellors of universities, and now in the Northeast. Sir, we wish very much to hear a few words from yourself because you've been with us through the whole event. Before I take the floor to add a few more things, particularly, I want to touch particularly a little bit on the World Health Organization's and the Center of Traditional Knowledge that is going to be established in India. Number one, I want to talk a little bit about the issue of the World Health Organization's traditional medicine strategy past 2023. The existing strategy will run out in 2023, and India is in a very strong position to guide where that future is post 2023. I want to talk a little bit about that and the work that Anilji, Ranaji, Anupamji, and Debjaniji has provided. It provides global leadership for how we can set standards for traditional systems, traditional medical systems. I want to address a little bit about Harish Vermaji's comment about local setting standards, not just setting standards, for circumscribing the practice that can be followed by a qualified person. And Anilji mentioned very nicely that it will depend on the local practice, the local standards. And I think there is a lesson here, particularly from Debjaniji's presentation, on how we can circumscribe those skills. So Vermaji, that is in reply to your comment. But first of all, I wish to invite Professor Cutting to share his thoughts and where he feels today's discussions are, where it needs to go in the future. So we invite you to present your thoughts. We feel very fortunate to have you here with us today. We look forward to just listening to a few words. Professor Cutting studied in St. Stephen's College in New Delhi. And then, if I understand correctly, he did his PhD at the Bose Institute. And since then has been doing a lot of work that touches on many, many aspects of mercury in biological products. Professor Cutting has a deep interest in structures of materials, which connects very closely to Bhasmas and that area of Rasaushadis in Ayurveda. So we feel very fortunate that you have sat with us today and listening to the presentations. We welcome you to the platform and we wish to record your thoughts here, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Madan. Thangavelu.
Before I just want to quickly interrupt. Before I bring you on, I just, for the sake of the audience who may not know, Professor Cutting's father was a Padma Shri and a very important person in Manipur. I think he was the principal secretary for the Manipur government and has a big, long history behind him. So we are so happy to have you here with us. Namaskar.
Thank you so much. But I'm so humbled by your recognition of our university. Perhaps this is not the time for me to be, sharing too much here, because I have come to learn also, and I've learned so much. I'm so happy that we, as a university, a very new university, young university, are taking part in this huge exercise that is going across the country, perhaps or globally as well, to try and bring some sort of standards across, especially in healthcare. And that's why we are so privileged to take part in this exercise that's going on. And the way that this training program, this seminar is going on now also, we are so encouraged that across the board, across the different countries, people are so interested and so involved. Because sometimes when we feel there are not many people around, we get a bit discouraged that we are alone on our own. But we are not alone. We are finding here that we have people all over, and especially people like you are there. So I'm so extremely happy to be just joining in and witnessing and listening. So for me, I'd like to just stick to that. I continue to listen and to learn. And then, but we're always there as a university. And we'll be most happy for anyone to participate, to help us, to advise us in different areas that you feel that we can contribute. But thank you so much for letting me share a few words. Thank you so much.
Namaskar. We are looking forward to learning from yourself about many aspects of the physical sciences, because you have so much mastery in that area. You have published so much, and we look forward to your help and guidance. And I want to take permission also from Pavanji to say that the International Interdisciplinary Institute for Research, Education and Skills wishes very much you to be with us to guide us as we grow this baby initiative in the years to come. So.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Please do stay with us for
I will.
Some more comments and
certainly
comments from our listeners. The first point I want to touch on is ISO 1724. I wasn't aware of this. I don't know if many of the people in the gathering was aware of 17024. As an adjunct professor at the what is today the Transdisciplinary University, I was aware of some of the work that that was offered today. Devjaniji presented today. But I wasn't aware that the connection that is being made with ISO 1724 and the current version, which is the 2012 version, that so much can be done there and so much has already been done in India. So congrats from all of us here, from all the listeners on YouTube listening to this thing live, that so much has already been done. And I think this sets the scene for where India can be the guide past 2023 for the WHO next version of traditional medicine standards for the world. And offline, Anilji, we will discuss this a little bit and everybody else about the scope for this thing. And together with Professor D'Orlando's help, we can shape something for the future. So that is that one point, 17024. I don't think many people in the world know that India has done so much already in this space, and we need to take this out to the world, particularly the low-income countries and other parts of the world, that is Africa, countries of Africa will be looking to this kind of guidance. But for the moment, I feel they don't know how much work senior academics like Devjaniji has already achieved in this space. Please let us connect and see how, particularly the Indian missions in all the countries in Africa, how we can get Ministry of External Affairs to communicate this, the work that is already going on in India, and to bring Africa into our discussions. I particularly look at Africa because it's a continent that has been deprived, and the guidance there can go off in some strange direction. There is a big, I'm going to be very undiplomatic here. There is a very big and unusual America-China influence in that part of the world. And I feel that for the sake of the people may not benefit from that influence. I feel what is being done here by Anilji, Debjaniji, and Ranaji and others, I think the whole continent of Africa and many parts of Latin America, many countries will benefit greatly from following this model that is being worked on right now. And we need to get this message out to as many people. I connect with our High Commissioner in Kenya. He's a MD who studied in All India Institute of Medical Science, Dr. Paul. I will discuss this issue with Dr. Paul and see how we can take it to the next step together with the Ministry of External Affairs and the Africa department in the ministry. Now, I touched briefly on the WHO Center for Traditional Medicine in India. We need, with Anilji and others, we will see how we can have a closer dialogue with the WHO Center that is coming up in Jamnagar. I also want to say that we should see how we can bring our young students to engage with with this work that is going on. It seems like there is a disconnect here, particularly students in our Ayurveda colleges and Ayurveda universities. We have beautiful universities coming up now in Uttarakhand. Professor Agnihotriji is here with us. And we have Ayush University in Kurukshetra that is coming up very strongly. Punjab has Ayurveda University. We need to see how this message, the excellent work that you people have done, needs to be appreciated by the universities and the agriculture colleges. The point that Sir from Chennai mentioned about the vernacular knowledge.
Thirunarayanji, sir.
Thirunarayanji mentioned about the extreme importance, the ultimate importance of the vernacular. Ayurveda is written in Sanskrit, a very refined knowledge, very universal knowledge, but not everybody is able to connect with that refined knowledge, to understand the samhitas, to understand the tikas, to be able to interpret that knowledge. While there is the undocumented stream that Professor Darshan Shankarji always talks about, the undocumented, which is happening, things that are going on in the villages, and that Debjaniji and all of you have started documenting and recognizing. I think there is a divide there, and this recognition is bridging that divide. But I feel that divide should be encouraged because there are many things that are so tightly connected with the environment. Some plants grow only in certain places. So if we go to Orissa, if we go to different parts of, say, Chhattisgarh, you will never find plants that are found in the south of India. And that knowledge needs to be understood. In one of my visits to Chhattisgarh, I had the opportunity to meet with the then Chief Minister Raman Singh Ji, and he arranged for me to go to Bastar district, Bastar, which is the Naxalite area, and went out there. I, in fact, visited the traditional healer, and we went to his house. We sat there, we spent some time with him, saw the patients he was treating, and the relationship that was there between the patient who was on the floor. So the patient had been to the government hospital in Bastar, but then felt it was, an elderly lady, she felt it was not satisfactory. She didn't like the hospital environment. She said, take me back to the village, back to the traditional healer. Now, what I found very interesting there is her husband just came from the field with, a gentleman came with a bunch of leaves. And that relationship was elaborated by the local healer there. He says, you know, our people know which plants to use, where to find them. And that knowledge has not been broken. It is there in the community. So The Vaidya, the local healer, he asked the husband to go and bring some plants because they know it is used traditionally for bone setting. And it was very nice to see how the whole process works. As a community, that knowledge is there in the community. So, and it is so wonderful to see how it is being documented and standards are being set for this. Now, why is this important for India and for the rest of the world? And I want to just cite some figures here, particularly the most recent figure here, which is the budget announcement recently that the Ministry of Ayush will now have a budget of 3,050 crores. Now, for us, this is a big amount. But I want to put some numbers to bring out the context for this, 3,050 crores. Is it a big number? This is only a fraction. So this is a budget for the entire nation, 1,000, almost 500 million people now today in India. If we take one single state, the biggest state, most populated state, Uttar Pradesh, has a population right now of about 220 million people. It has 97,000 villages, 95 districts. Now, this is half the population of, almost half the population of all of Europe put together. This is the scope and the challenge that India faces. We have huge number of people and our health budgets are almost non-existent. That health budget, the entire country's health budget, is less than the annual research budget for some of the top pharmaceutical companies. So India is showing the world a very, very important direction. It says we need a different approach to health. And health has to be distinguished from healthcare and disease care. And India needs to guide the world in a new way. And particularly, I raised this point, particularly here in the presence of Professor Karthing, senior academic who has perhaps more contact than all of us into several agencies, just to highlight a point, sir, which is that the community, as you can see here, we are very excited and we want to be a major force in shaping those discussions in the future. And this platform, Pavanji and colleagues who offer us this platform, we wish very much for this platform to be a place where we can share knowledge, share information, have senior people like yourselves communicate with us. We are very fortunate today to have here Dr. Ish Sharma, who's joining us from Mauritius. So Harish Ji joining us from Toronto. So, sir, this is point just to say that we are becoming that global community. A global community where the most important element is information sharing and information, presentation of valuable information. And Pavanji and his colleagues have been recording all of these presentations. They're all archived now for anybody to come and do a review. And these are new opportunities, new standards that the world never realized could happen. But clearly we are entering that new phase. I use the term the fifth industrial revolution, where we will see new formulas coming out. Maybe the person in Bastar will be the person who will connect on the internet and share knowledge with the rest of the world. And we want to be able to facilitate that, those kind of opportunities. I feel privileged that Pavanji has almost come up to the 300th such webinar. And he has brought along with him so many people from around the country, senior people, junior Vaidyas, and people from around the world he has brought onto this platform. I feel this is the beginning of that fifth industrial revolution where knowledge will be shared, we will discuss openly, refine standards, arrive at new approaches for delivering one Earth, one health agenda for the world. One Earth, one health agenda for the world. And in that scenario, India will become a leader in defining new standards for health, defining new standards for healthcare, and defining new standards for the entire world in how we should appreciate health. Health is different from healthcare, which is different from disease care. And there are three terms that are very, very important to understand. India is in a very strong position now to shine the light on the world about health. And from health, how we can maintain health, prevent disease, promote health. There are many, many problems in the world today where there are serious challenges. Simple problem like obesity in school children is a major problem here.
Yes, sir.
Infertility is a major problem. Hypertension is a major problem. And these are all areas where we look forward to new standards, more discussions. So with those few words, Pavanji, I want to first of all thank Professor Karting thank you for staying here with us and listening to our words.
I would like to welcome Dr. Kathing. Please, if I am audible to you, kindly unmute your speaker and bless us by your inspirational speech.
Thank you so much again. Thank you.
We look forward to your guidance, sir, for all the work, and particularly in the Northeast region, which is rich in flora. We as a community, we would like...
And traditional healers are more in Northeast.
So we look forward to being with you, sir, and we look forward very much that you will guide us as this journey continues.
Yeah, I need your guidance.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So Pavanji, with those few words, I want to thank all the speakers today. Anilji, Devjani-ji, Ranaji, thank you so much for being with us. And Anupam Srivastava-ji, thank you so much. And there will be many, many questions here from our speakers. Pavanji, I will leave this with you to see how you offer time.
Thank you.
We always seem to go beyond the time limit, but our discussions are always very enriching, and they're invaluable because we are
right, sir.
Managed to bring people together and share these ideas. So I leave it with you. Namaskar ji.